Hey, it's Aidan here. Thank you for tuning in for the Nurture Professional training. This is essentially a networking training to basically make your life easier because, it's hard as an entertainer. It's really hard. We have to do not only everything to run our business from sales to marketing to actually fulfilling doing the shows. We also have to do the feedback and the social proofing, and I mean, there's so many strings. We have to write the shows, rehearse the shows, learn the new material, make sure that the tricks are good, get that flight time. There's so much that we have to do as entertainers, and as a result it can pile up and be really tough to actually make any form of significant progress in the world of entertainment. And it's one of the things that holds so many people back. Now, the good thing is that actually effective networking strategies are going to basically crush a significant amount of your things on your to-do list. And in this sort of training, we want to show you how you can start doing that right now by exploring the two major types of connections in your network and how you can optimize those to make your business so much easier so that you can focus on the things that you love and enjoy and the meaningful connections here. Now, I'm going to get rid of my big face from just up here, move it down to the side a little bit. And we're just going to run through some basic principles, first of all, of actual networking. What are some really fundamental networking principles? And also then how can we use those inside our networking relationships? And we'll get onto that stuff in just a second. Now, the first key thing for you to remember and to know about all of this stuff is that networking is not scooping up a load of business cards, getting a load of people on your email list or on your social media. It's nothing to do with that at all. Networking is simply relationship building. Let me say that again. Networking is just relationship building. All you're doing is creating great relationships. I think it was even Steve Jobs or it was Bill Gates. It was one of these big icons of the tech age that quite simply said that, yes, it's all well and good to do all of this stuff, but networking is just being able to plant the seed of a relationship and allow that to grow over time. So again, rule number one is like, whatever you think about networking right now, it's relationship building. And the big mindset that we have to switch from is who's in my network? Oh, I need to network to these people, XYZ. I've got to get this amount of people. And instead we need to flip to a proactive version, which is who can I serve? Who can I serve in my network? And it's all about service and helping other people. You know, when I first started out in the world of professional entertainment, it was so hard to do the marketing, to do the sales, to get people booking me, to do all it was impossible. It felt impossible. I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. It was crushing me down. It was an absolute nightmare until we had the penny drop realization that if I just help other people and stop worrying about all this marketing stuff and all of this sales and stuff, maybe my life would be easier. It wasn't even that I was going to do it to get gigs out of these people because I wasn't aware of networking as a concept back then. But I was just thought, well, maybe it's easier to just help other people, see what they're doing well and see how and I can use their information and their lessons and the knowledge that I get from those people into what it is that I'm actually doing myself in my entertainment business. And the truth is, as soon, it wasn't even like a little change, as soon as I started thinking about who can I serve, who can I help, who can I support, everything changed. The entire dynamic, the atmosphere, the lot changed to help, like helping people. People were offering service back. They were handing me clients. They were booking me for gigs themselves. Like it felt like everything was coming to me on a silver platter without any expectation of anything in return. And the key there is that is a fundamental rule of networking. It's actually, you lead with generosity here. You're leading with help and support. And that all comes from this mindset of who can I serve, not who can I connect with or who can I chat to or who can I tap up for a gig. If that's your way of thinking, we need to switch that right now to who can I serve. And the other thing here is it's a little brain tattoo that me and Ashley like to, we talk quite a lot about. And that's this idea that networking in and of itself is a long-term strategy with the potential for short-term benefits. You know, earlier we just spoke about planting the seed and allowing that relationship to grow over time. This is really important. Networking is a long-term strategy with the potential of short-term benefits. Sure, you start a new networking relationship, you start a new relationship with somebody and they think, oh, you're perfect for XYZ. That'll happen from time to time, but that's not something that you should go into this whole concept expecting and believing that you're entitled to, because you are not entitled to a thing, because you have to serve first. Now, we've got some a workbook, depending on where you're actually watching this, will depend on where you can actually get this. If you're watching on, say, the website, for example, our website, you'll be able to just see a box below. You'll be able to pop your name, email address in, and we'll send you a copy of this little workbook. We've got some worksheets and activities that we're going to go through in this session. But if you're watching inside Mighty Networks or on social media or anywhere else, you should be able to comment somewhere. And if you just comment worksheet below this training, we'll be able to drop you the link. And yeah, we can go from there. But first of all, we're actually going to look at the relationship evaluation pyramid. Now, this is basically done to look at your relationship, so your network overall. And if you don't think you've got a network, it's just your network quite literally is the people that you spend time with and the people that you're connected with. It's really as simple as that. In Learn to Thrive, for example, some of our coaching clients, they ask us like, oh, I'm not very good at networking, or I don't have anybody in my network. We always ask the same question of, do you know 5 people? Yes. Do you think that those 5 people each know 5 people? Yes. You've got the start of a really great relationship and a really great high quality network, even if you only know just 5 people. So again, by all means, look at your network as a whole, or just pick 5 people to think about right now, because there's different stages of where you're at in these relationships. We can start with like non-existent, and that's that first level of like, I don't have a network, which we have kind of just debunked at this point. But the next level is unresponsive, in that you've got people, maybe you've got people on your LinkedIn, or you've got people on your Instagram, or you've got people on your social media or your email list or something, but they're very unresponsive. They're not helping you. You've not really got any, you're not getting anything from your network. That's unresponsive. And as we go through, just think about where you are actually on this pyramid. And you've also got semi-engaged. So above that is semi-engaged. So they're not unresponsive, and some people are engaged. We've kind of got a bit of momentum somewhere inside our network. Again, on top of that, we've actually got small but engaged. That's a very subtle difference there. Maybe small but engaged. Now, as you go up, as you can see, the quality of these relationships are getting bigger and bigger, even if the quantity is shrinking. That's not important. It's not important to have the biggest network in the world. It's actually more important to have what you can manage to a high quality and have really great relationships with. So small but engaged is kind of that 4th point. And then finally on the top, we've got super fans. These are the people that absolutely love the pants off of you. You really respect them and you love them in return, and you can both offer mutual benefit. And it's just a good relationship. And we're not talking professionally here. This is like personally as well. Would you spend time with these people outside of working relationships? And if not, they're probably still semi-engaged or a little bit down the line, or somewhere else actually in this pyramid. Now, with that said, I kind of want you to think whereabouts you are right now, or whereabouts your network would sit in this process. Is it non-existent? Is it unresponsive? Is it semi-engaged? Is it small but engaged? Or have you got a really solid network of super fans here? And when you look at this, it might look like there's 5 different stages to your network, but the truth is that there are only 2 stages: disengaged and engaged. That's it. You've got no other way around this. You've got the disengaged people, semi-engaged, unresponsive, non-existent. You don't really have an engaged network. And one of the things that we're going to start doing in this training is actually getting you engaged with that network, turning the heat up on that, so that people actually want to spend time with you and talk to you, and move up towards an engaged list of small but engaged or just super fans. Now, second sort of worksheet here is actually the nurture professional. And this is where a lot of today's mindset is going to come in, because this is the 2 types of networking relationship here. There are 2 different types of contacts in your network. And we're using a metaphorical brain here, split down the middle, to suggest each of those. Now, on the left-hand side, we're going to look at the one-to-one contacts. And one-to-one contacts are literally the people that could book you themselves, or are likely to book you themselves. They're just one-on-one. For example, this could be somebody who's just got engaged that you met at a local wedding fair. This could be somebody who is organising an office Christmas party. That this could be just one person here that is likely to lead on to a gig themselves. And on the right-hand side, this is the second category now. Over on the right-hand side, we've got what we call one one-to-many contacts. And these one-to-many contacts are quite simply people who might not book you themselves, but are potentially in touch with a lot of people that could book you. And great examples of this are, I don't know, say teams overall, people actually within a team, people that are, say, venues owners or other suppliers in your niche. For example, like for me, one of the reasons, or the main reason I go to wedding fairs is not to go and network and meet a load of clients and get a load of gigs out of the clients. Like, yes, that's nice, but that's a bonus, because what we're actually doing is we're filling that one-to-many side and networking with the other suppliers, because truth be told, it's the other suppliers that fill me with more gigs than I could possibly land in that day. It's so important. And we'll have a look at that, sort of how that plays out and why those differences are important, and then how we actually manage them. So here we are, we've got our brain, we've got our one-to-one over on the left, and we've got our one-to-many over on the right. Now, in these one-to-many situations, again, we use a brain quite literally here, because it's time, energy, resources that you're actually spending, cognitive resources spending to manage every single one of these relationships. And in this case, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 different relationships here that could potentially lead to a booking. That's 6 situations here that you're spending directly from person to person. A lot of repetition here, person to person, are going through a process that could generate to a booking. Now, that's a dream world. Obviously, if we have 6 conversations and they end up in 6 different converted clients and your perfect package, that's awesome. But reality says that's not necessarily going to happen. And in this case, 50% of these people just don't book you. For whatever reason, 50% of these one-to-one clients don't book you. And again, this is just a metaphor. This is just lines on a document here. So by all means, like, your conversion ratios will probably be different. You'll probably be much better than 50%. But this just emphasizes the point that here, half of our resources, half of our time, our energy, our cognitive space, our mental capacity has been put on one-to-one things, in which case it's just gone straight down the drain. Or it's not gone down the drain because you've learned from it and you're adapting, because that's the kind of people that you are here in the TSM community. But what you're doing is you're stuck putting 50% of your time away. You're putting it somewhere where you're not seeing immediate results. And by immediate results here, I'm saying bookings, traction, momentum in your entertainment business. Now, the difference we have is that on the one-to-many side here is that, so we have 2 contacts, just 2 in this example. But you take a look at how many sort of spires are coming off of those 2 here. We've got like a bunch of different people. In fact, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I should probably have counted this beforehand. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, just again, this is just basic maths here, which is ironic that I'm struggling with that. But so we've just got 7 people. By knowing 2 people and having great relationships with 2 people, these 2 people, these are our suppliers, our venues, our other people here. They've got the opportunity to put us and recommend us in front of, say, 7 different clients, 7 different people that could potentially book us. Now, realistically, we're not going to just cut that all the way down to just 2 people. So we're going to do a few more. And you see the point here is that the more one-to-many contacts that we nurture, the more contacts we see overall. So although on the left-hand side here, we've got 6 people that we're spending a lot of time with to nurture into a direct gig, on the right-hand side, we're only nurturing 4 people. And of that, all of those different opportunities there could pop out to become a paid gig. Now, realistically, not all of them are going to happen. And again, even less so if somebody else is doing the selling or the recommending. But what we've got there is a significant amount. Let me move my head out of the way at this point, actually. We've got a significant amount of people here. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people. By having 4 conversations or 4 really great relationships, we've created 6 potential bookings through into actually our overall one-to-one process there. So the point we're making here is not go ahead and ditch all of your one-to-one and only talk to venues and only talk to those kind of people. But what we're saying here is that it's even more of a reason to go and spend more time nurturing the relationships and actually becoming a nurture professional, at looking at these one-to-many people that might not immediately book you, because like we all do it. Entertainers, we get stuck in this wonderful position where we basically say, can you book us? Yes, no. If yes, great, I'm going to spend ages trying to talk to you and sell my services and then feel really uncomfortable about the whole thing. Versus one-to-many, or like say they can't book you, well, you just turn away. Oh, okay, no worries. Shut down that conversation. Go marketing again. You see how here we're not even marketing. Like our marketing is just being helpful to 4 people in this example. And I'm not saying this is accurate maths. None of this is accurate maths. This is just lines on a document, as I said earlier. But the point we're making here is that by nurturing relationships, we open the door to so many more bookings than if we was just going to get bookings. And that's the mindset shift that we need to take. Now, how do we actually handle those? Well, our one-to-one clients, those people that could book us, we need to go through the XDS protocol, which is quite simply to either eliminate part of that conversation, to delegate parts of that conversation, or just build the relevant systems to cover that parts of that conversation. And don't worry, we'll cover this in just a second. There's some extra worksheets and stuff and an exercise that's really useful for this. But what we want to do is we want to basically let the repetitive work over on the one-to-one side become automated or at least not you doing it all the time. And it doesn't have to be automated. Like it can be just you are doing it, but the systems are taking over. There's a process there that's going to take off the weight off your shoulders. It's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting on your behalf. So you're not having to hustle your way through all the time, trying to serve 1 million people in the same way, time after time after time and time again. Like we like batching is great. Don't get me wrong. The concept of batching and doing the same task where you have to do it a lot over and over is great. But what's better than just batching to be more productive is to either put a system in place so you don't have to do it. It's happening by automation, or you're giving it to somebody else and they're doing the batching on your behalf, or if it's not really relevant, just stopping that point of the process. And what we do here is we free up loads of our time, we free up loads of our energy, and we get to focus on the more meaningful elements of the one-to-one relationships. You know, the actual talking to a client and becoming good contacts for the client, actually being helpful for them and serving them. Remember that key question, who can I serve? And that's the switch here. And one-to-many, it's a similar sort of process here. However, we can't really automate these relationships and because they're going to be very different in nature. The problem that we face here is that because it's so different, we need to put our attention on it. And as a result, the one way that we can optimize our one-to-many relationships is just to support the heck out of those people, to support the heck out of the people, serve them so powerfully that they've just got this overwhelming desire to help you without any expectations in return. And that's the key. You're going to serve them powerfully without any expectations. And as a result, they will be more likely to do the same. It's this law of overwhelming generosity here, that if you do someone a favor, they are psychologically more likely to help you and do you a favor in return. And that's not what we're saying is going to happen. We're not saying go be friends with a venue and help a venue out a load of times, or another supplier out a load of times because they're going to refer you for this, that, and the other. That's probably not going to happen. But the point is, you are useful to them. You are a good person to them. And as a result, when an opportunity arises, they're going to be more likely to think about you. And hence, those opportunities can come up. Now, there is a little worksheet here on actually how to tackle each of these. So let's jump into that right now. So obviously, if you haven't got, again, just a reminder, if you haven't got the worksheets for this, where you can scribble it out and color it in or do what you want with it, just comment worksheets below. Or if you're watching on the website, just pop your name and your email address in the form just below, and we'll be able to get that sent across to you. Now, we'll start with the one-to-one contacts here, the optimizing those one-to-one relationships. And here's the kind of thing. Let's make my face a little smaller. There we go. So there's a process here with these one-to-one clients. There's a journey that they go on. They go on from this stage one, which we like to call brand awareness. This is where they just come into your world. They just hear about you. They found you on Google, or they've just spotted you on social media. They've followed you there, or something. And what you're going to do is you're going to quite simply look at every step of the process that it takes for you in your entertainment business to take them from there all the way through to what we call stage 5, which is raving fans. And in this case, one-to-one relationships, the journey is booking confirmed. What are the processes involved with taking your clients from just hearing about you, just finding out about you, literally just meeting you, all the way through to a paid confirmed booking? So, for example, for a lot of entertainers, for like usually it'll follow a similar sort of process to the one that we've outlined here, which is step number 1 is to have them fill out an inquiry form. Step number 2 is to book a call or book a meeting or something to actually talk to them about their event and make sure you're a good fit and sell your packages or whatever. Then from there, you follow up with that call to make sure that you've got a definitive yes that they do want to go ahead with the booking. And then finally, like, return the paperwork. They've completed the contracts, invoices, all of that kind of stuff. And for a lot of entertainers, maybe even you watching this, that will probably be a really clear process to actually go from 1, 2, 3, 4. But for some, it'll differ, and depending on the services that you offer, will again differ very, very slightly. So what we want you to do, by all means, use this if it's 4 points, but if it's more than that, by all means, go ahead and drop some more. And you're going to actually start writing, like, what are the stages of the booking process? And get really clear on there. And the second important thing that you're going to note is the minimum requirement for that stage to be completed for your client to move to the next one. So, for example, in the case of an inquiry form, so the stage is quite simply the client fills out an inquiry form, but the minimum requirement in order to qualify them to book a call is that they need a date for their wedding. Just an example there. You don't have to use that. You could pick absolutely anything. But let's say for now that is the one minimum requirement that they must have in order to book a call. Well, if they fill that box out on your website, great. If they don't fill that box or select a date on your inquiry form, then perhaps there's something else that you're going to do. You're going to take them down a different route. And what we want to do here is we want to unlock systems thinking, which is quite simply the ability to look at the tinier components of the bigger engine, the bigger process here, the booking process, and find out what are the systems that will actually automatically take one person to the next and qualify them with ease. Because you don't want to be spending ages booking calls with people left, right, and center if they're just not interested, for example. Another example, a great example, might be budget. If you are pitched as a really expensive entertainer, or your entertainment packages are incredibly pricey, and they select that their budget is just ridiculously low, or they're looking for a freebie, well, that's a disqualifier straight away. You're not going to spend time booking a call with that person if they're not relevant for you. And again, what we want you to do here is, by all means, print this out and write this out or whatever, but actually brainstorm those progression systems. And they are the things that will allow the client to move to the next step with ease. And if you don't know what that is, or you want some examples, by all means, comment. Obviously, you can't do this if you're watching on the website, in which case you should definitely hop over and join us in the TSM community. Head over to thesuccessfulmentalist.com/community, and you'll be able to create a free account and come and join these conversations and get these trainings in an awesome area. Now, but if you are watching in the community, by all means, comment below and actually ask you questions, give your examples. What stage are they at, and what is the next stage? And just to give some, brainstorm some ideas right here. So inquiry form to booking a call. You might have a clever survey system that uses some form of conditional logic to say that if this box or this question has an answer or has a date filled, the thank you page will say the link to booking a call, for example. You could have your survey at the end, if it's got that and it displays the link to booking a call. You could have it tag them in your email marketing system to send them a specific email campaign after they filled out your inquiry form to get them to book a call. That this way you're not having to do the whole hey, thank you so much, and manually sending these emails. Remember, this is stuff that's going to happen time and time and time again. So what can you do to make the process easier? What can you do to allow the client to just effortlessly go from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5? And if you want a little bit more info about those 5 stages, from brand awareness all the way to booking confirmed, just comment stages down below, and we'll be able to send you a link to a Just the Tip podcast episode in which we explain the 5 stages that we use and help people with inside Learn to Thrive, our coaching program. And so to get back to this, again, once you've got the booking stage, you've got the minimum requirements. What's the minimum thing that they need to move to the next stage, and the system that will allow them to do that effortlessly, or at least without you having to manually go in and chase it all up. Like, you might still want to do XYZ. You might still need to go in and trigger something in your email marketing platform, or you might need to go and still give them a phone call, for example, after they've done something. The point there is that you're making that really clear. How are you going to know whether you need to make that phone call? Is it a notification will come through to your project management system, a to-do list? You'll get an email notification. Will it send you a text to say, bam, this person has just done this thing, give them a call as soon as possible? Like, whatever that is for you. And this might feel a bit vague, but that's because everyone's entertainment business is going to be very different. And essentially what you're going to do is, for however many stages, say you've got four categories or 4 stages in the booking process, like we've got in this example here, you're just going to pick the simplest system, because it's not about having the most convoluted one that has tags and notifications and email reminders and an email campaign and all of this amazing complicated stuff. If literally sending one text to your mobile phone will do the job. What is the simplest system that you can pick? And that's why I brainstorm as many different ideas as you can that will move people to the next step, and just pick the simplest thing. And if you don't know, or you want some thoughts or some help, by all means comment below, and we'll be able to help you with that. And the aim is you're going to do that with every stage of your booking process from start to finish, with a clear, simple system there, and you're going to build it one piece at a time. Wherever you're finding most demand, or you're struggling with the most, for example, following up on calls you are terrible with because you've got so many calls, well, maybe that's the simplest system to start building first of all. Or that might be email follow-up, an email campaign, or text SMS reminders, or whatever it is. Can you XDS this process? Is this stage crucial? Do they absolutely 100% have to do this stage to go to the next one, and then the next one, and then get booked? If not, delete it completely. If you can, and it still requires that manual admin, which is where the D in the process comes along, the delegation, can you give that role to somebody else? Can you get an admin person, or just somebody who could do a couple of hours a week for you to actually do that little bit of busy work, that bit of admin that you don't want to do? Can you delegate it to a person or to a system? An automation? Can you automate the process? And I appreciate that for a lot of entertainers, this might seem a little bit in depth, or a little bit scary, or maybe even a little bit confusing. And that's one of the reasons that inside Learn to Thrive, our elite coaching program, we actually help you to build these systems and get clear on streamlining your life, your entertainment business, giving you that focal point and the clear-cut step-by-step process to actually get there. So if you want more info on that, by all means, just comment Thrive down below, and we'll be able to reach out with some more thoughts on that. But ultimately, please know that this is a lot simpler than it probably sounds. And you're going to do that. Once you've built all of that, that's great. Your one-to-one relationships now, your new clients will be set for success, because now you are out of the way. And instead, the clients are absolutely loving it, because their start to finish journey is effortless. It's streamlined. There's no problems involved whatsoever, because you're not there to get in the way and let yourself down. Really important point. Now from here, actually one-to-many. Now this one's really quite simple. Because again, remember the point of one-to-many. The only way to handle these relationships is to serve and support. So this grid, nice and self-explanatory. Who are your one-to-many contacts? And again, I've put the example there of Vicky from Manor Barn as a local wedding venue to you. What are their wants and needs? Perhaps Vicky is recruiting for a team of staff right now, so she can actually take a break because she's doing every wedding all the time right now. Now, serve, how can you serve them? How can you actually serve and be a really clear point of value? Well, if you have people, for example, that you know that are looking for a job, sending them that application link, putting them in touch, sending that email to connect them whatsoever, that is a service that you are giving to this person, to Vicky in this example, for free. You're not asking for cash for it. You're not asking for it's unexpectation. Nearly said unexpectationless. That's not the point I meant. But you're doing this with no expectations whatsoever. You're actually going into this relationship to serve this person based on their wants and needs. And if you don't know what their wants and needs are right now, this is a perfect opportunity to go and ask them. And it's simple. Like it's hopping on the phone to them if you phone them, or dropping them an email to start up a conversation there and just ask the question, like, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now? What is one thing that you wish would be different about the way you run your wedding venue right now? What is the one thing what's the one magic bullet that you would love to just see right now and solve some of your problems or the challenges that you're facing? When you get an answer by this, you can start ticking things off. For example, if I ask Vicky, what's the biggest challenge that you've got right now? It's like, as she says, I'm always working. Like I'm really struggling to actually take some time off, even though I need it. How can I serve them? How can I support Vicky in this situation and actually give her what she needs? I can help her and suggest, have you tried finding a team? Is there any way that a team could cover whilst you're off? If so, yes, and move that conversation from there. And this is one very small, tiny little example of a much bigger picture here, because you're going to have to think on your feet here. And that's why we want a bit more sort of mental capacity. You want a bit more of your brain power focused on this stuff. So how can you serve them? And then the final one, so a slight difference here. How can you support them? Because service here is very different to supporting you. If somebody was to literally serve, imagine it like this, like somebody serving you a meal. Like they are there giving you sustenance. They are giving you food. They are giving you the thing that you wanted help with, which was, in this case, of foods and stuff. Like, you wanted to eat because you were perhaps hungry, and somebody serves you that's great. But somebody supporting you isn't going to do the same thing. It's a little bit of a passive. It's not as forward-loaded. It's not as front-loaded here. It's like a sideline kind of activity that you can do to just keep that relationship ticking over, keep it rolling whilst serving them. So they're two different entities there. An example here, just engage with the venue's social media and perhaps even share the content to your Facebook page to help them with a little bit more popularity or publicity and stuff, which in return, supporting them and their social media and stuff, but that could have a direct knock-on effect. If they post something and you've helped them grow their audience a little bit, they then say, hey, we're recruiting for 3 jobs. If you've given them that little odds there of just showing it to more people, there's a possibility there that you've, in this sort of indirect way, served them. And that's the difference there. It's direct service and indirect support. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And that's really sort of clear in terms of how to navigate the different relationships that you've got. You've got those one-to-many and those one-to-one. You're going to go through systems here, clear-cut XDS, eliminate, delegate them, systemize them through these one-to-one contacts. And then the one-to-many relationships, you're just going to focus on service and support. And if you've got any questions, as usual, by all means, drop them in the comments, reach out to us, and let us know what's the one thing that you're going to take action after this call. What is that one next step that you're going to take? What is the one thing that you're going to do to move your entertainment business that one step forwards? Because don't do all of this straight away. It's not going to help if you're trying to build 400 systems and do 5,000 networks. It's just not going to happen. So what is the one thing that you're going to commit to over, say, the next 7 days of implementing this stuff? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you at some point soon. Hopefully that's been useful. Catch you soon.